My name is Luigi. For some who it's the first time over here, I'm the chef owner of Tiramisu Restaurant. Welcome. And I'd like to introduce my great famous author, chef, award winner, study, research, not to mention that I'm honored to be friends, Riolo.
Thank you all so much for coming this morning. It's great to have all of you here. I know some of you have either been here before or been to some of my classes before, so it's great to have you both together. The Italian Prime Minister comes here, lots of very famous people come here, and he's always the go-to chef for that. So it's great to be able to work with him and to be able to share all of this experience with you guys. So we're going to go back there and we're going to get really intimate because it's close. And
therefore, we better like each other.
Exactly.
The key is like a great mascarpone. Of course, the eggs is important, and the espresso. The espresso is what gives the body of tiramisu.
So the cookies that we use in making tiramisu are called savoiardi, and they're lady fingers in English. But the reason their name is savoiardi is because they come from Savoia. In the 15th century, they actually developed a recipe for the King of France, who was coming to visit Savoia, because northern Italy, Piemonte, Torino, these places, they were under the control and went back and forth between Italy and France for many, many years. So the King of France was coming, and they made these lady fingers to celebrate him, and that's why they called them savoiardi. So this was 15th century. Then 200 years later, in the 17th century, the Duke, who was Cosimo de' Medici III, they wanted to honor him with a dessert. So they said, this is in Siena, and he makes fun of me. No. Every time we go to eat, there has to be a story. He's like, can I just eat? And I'm telling the story. But anyway, so 1700s, in Siena, Cosimo de' Medici, who was the Duke, they wanted to honor him, and they made the recipe for what they called the zuppa del Duca, which is the soup of the Duke. And this soup was a sweet soup, and it's kind of like a trifle, and became the origin of what we know as tiramisu. How it happened was the Florentines got this from Siena, and they said this is a really nice restaurant. So like the intellectuals and the artists and those kind of high society people started following what the Duke was doing. It became popular in Florence. Then it went to Venice, and the courtesans fell in love with it, and then it became a courtesan kind of sweet.
And of course, right now there is a war going on, like we were the first. No, it's actually now, we were this, like of course, Italian.
But yeah, but the lovely thing about food history, I always tell people, it doesn't matter who had it first, it's what everybody did with it that's so cool. Here's a little bonus recipe, you guys. What could they do if they wanted to turn this into a sorbetto?
Sorbetto. You saw the strawberry, like they were cut, even more ripe. You freeze it. I mean, you put it in a tray, like that big china over there, the square china. You put it in a tray that basically they don't touch each other, and you freeze it. I mean, completely froze. You take it out, you leave it 10 minutes outside, and just like that, you can start it, and then you put it in the Vitamix, and then the big blender.
Heavy duty blender.
Heavy duty. And then, as they are, you take the products and you put it in a container, you freeze it, and then you scoop. You have the best sorbet in your life.
You can add citrus, you can add prosecco.
Yeah, banana, pear, peach. The day after, you do that blend. Mwah. Yes, I love it. Because it's 100% fruits. There is no chemical, there is no other things or anything that people put over there. Okay.
Are you going to show them to top this, or are we going to do that later?
No, we do later on the way, once we serve it. And then during the occupation of the Arab, also according to some ceremony, they start to add the candy fruit inside, and then finally it's as we have it today.
In the 16th century, sugar